Morning. Hello there. All right. Um, back in the saddle again, I should say. Back in the saddle again. And I've just been on Twitter. I've just come back onto Twitter. I thought I've got to get back onto there as well. And the same creeps are still there. The same idiots are still there. I'm wondering how many of them are working for Cheshire Police. I mean, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just random, nasty pieces of work that there seems to be enough of those about, doesn't there, really? Just been sharing a few things on the posts, it used to be called community thing on YouTube. More channels talking about this. It's building, it's moving forward at such a pace now, and it's irrepressible. It can't be stopped. It can't be stopped now. It's just about how that system wants to protect itself and minimize damage to itself. But that's not going to be easy to do. But as somebody's just said on Twitter, I just read, it's got to, in a comment, just said, it's got to be this year. Lucy Letby has to be, well, should be now, right now. I feel incredibly, as I'm no doubt many of you do, very impatient with the idea that it's going to take, what's that ridiculous saying? The wheels of justice grind exceedingly slow. Well, why the fuck is that then? Why? What are we going to keep putting up with that crap? Why should it grind slow? Is it because of a bunch of arseholes are running that system or administrating that system? Is that why they grind exceedingly slow? Is that why it is? Because when they want to put someone away very, very quickly for ridiculous sentences, as we've seen recently, just last year, then it can grind exceedingly quickly when it wants to, when it's got political pressure applied to it. And the police can act exceedingly quickly. And other times they act exceedingly slowly or not at all. So it's all excuses. And there's a lot in that ridiculous saying, grinding exceedingly slow, is because we're accepting it. We're accepting these arseholes running it. Why should we accept that? Why should we accept that? Anyway, we've got to calm down. Got to calm down. Peter Hitchens has done very well, and very early on was talking about Lucy Letby's. He thought she may be innocent very early on, and credit to him for that. There's an odd note in one of the articles I saw of him the other day, projecting forward when Lucy Letby's released, and sort of saying it might be in a long period of time. But why should it? I don't see the need to consider that as a possibility. It's going to happen soon. It must happen soon. It can't be allowed to drag on. The pressure must be kept up. But there was a very odd note where he says, but we'll never know 100% that she was innocent. And I just thought, what? Even Peter Hitchens, I'm not a particular fan of his, whatever, but I think he's done very well in this respect, in this matter. It doesn't matter whether I'm a fan of his. I'm just talking about what he's saying, because he says, well, we'll never know she was innocent, but she's obviously, it's got to be, it's nowhere near beyond reasonable doubt. But at the same time, he's acknowledging, and surely is acknowledging, that there weren't any crimes. So it's no longer a question of whether you know someone's innocent or guilty. If there are no crimes, help me out here, folks, help me out. You can see it, can't you? You can see the problem with that the idea that we're still never going to know whether she's innocent. But there weren't any crimes. Is that a bit of a clue? It's like somebody, you think somebody's nicked some money off you. And you say, well, you've nicked that money off me, and then they say, no, I didn't. But you condemn them, and then you find the money that you thought they nicked off you in your inside pocket because you'd left it there. But are you still going to say, well, maybe they did it, maybe they're not innocent, and they haven't done it because there's no crime? Help me out. I can't believe. I'm not having to go at him particularly, but this is just. There's a deficit, isn't there? Isn't there a deficit of logical thinking here, even in someone who has done very well by bringing this matter? But I'll leave it there. But anyway, it just bothered me that. Why would you equivocate? Why would you equivocate at all now? Well, it's obvious that there are no crimes. You don't have to be in a state of mind of saying it's not beyond reasonable. It's not been proven beyond reasonable doubt, or that you don't know whether someone's innocent or guilty and you can't know it. If there were no crimes, sorry, but it's mad, isn't it? Please, for the love of God, please, someone explain it to me. Someone explain it to me. I'm worried about that kind of thing, because that kind of thing, it kind of perpetuates the equivocation about it. And there is no equivocation about it. Listen to Dr. Shu Lee. Listen to those panel of experts. There's no need to equivocate about it. There's no need to kind of just hold it in your back pocket and think, well, we'll never really know. Of course, it wasn't fair that she was convicted, but we'll never really know. If there were no crimes, then you know. Because matters of guilt and innocence in terms of deliberate harm are not on the table at all, because there are no crimes. Sorry, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir. I just went on Twitter, and that same character, Deb Roberts, I don't know who they are. Could be a bloke, could be a... It doesn't matter who they are. They're all still there. They're still doing it. But it's running out of steam now. All that, it's over. Brilliant to see other channels. Just watching Operation Merlin Falcon. Great points about that secret meeting that they had with the press. You know, that the police called. Watching that video now, put it on posts. Yeah, it's all going in the right direction, folks. I'll keep this a short one, and feeling very positive still. Had a bit of a dip yesterday because of personal issues, but back in the fray, back in the saddle again. It's heading in one direction and one direction only, and that is Lucy Letby's exoneration. And then everything else that has to happen after that will happen, necessarily will happen, in terms of the parents getting, well, essentially they've been it's accessible to them. It's accessible to them what has happened already through what that panel of experts have done. It's accessible to them, and it must be extraordinarily difficult, that the position they're in. And there's no way on earth I would want. I'm not going there in those terms, because they've been gaslit, and as somebody on another channel said, they've been abused and gaslit to the max, and told this pack of lies, and convinced by a bunch of very dangerous people in Cheshire Police, and those doctors, and that NHS trust, and those particular consultants, all hiding what they know was the truth. And the CPS and the whole criminal justice system has lied to them to the most disgusting degree for years. For how many years now? Well, since 2017. So that's like 8 years now. 8 years they've been lied to. Very hard for those parents to do a very sudden volte-face and realise it, because it's so... They've been pulled into that false narrative by those deceptive people for that length of time. So I do have absolute understanding why they're not going to automatically flip their sense of what's happened. It's going to be a very, very difficult and slow awakening to the truth of how they've been treated by the NHS, by the police, by the criminal justice system, and used, and this very terrible tragic death of their children has been used and covered up by all those institutions, and then an innocent person framed. And in the fullness of time, of course, those people, they will not and would not want an innocent person to be jailed for life, not only because they didn't commit those crimes, but because the crimes didn't happen, but negligence did, and all the failures did. I just put up a sort of a picture on posts there that I saw on the Tigger Smudges Twitter account, which lists all the failings that Dr. Shu Lee lists towards the end of that press conference. Anyway, I'll leave it there before I go on too much. And God bless, all the best, and it's all going in the right direction, and going at a really strong and powerful pace now. Thank you. Bye bye.